Of this magnitude, there are some challenges reported, including instances where voting officials arrived late for duty and where materials were delayed. This had all been resolved by 9 o'clock this morning. The Electoral Commission wishes to thank voters who already responded to the call to vote and appeals to all remaining voters to make their way to voting stations before they close at 9 tonight. Today is your turn to make your voice heard and to support South Africa's electoral democracy.
And so now we cross to my colleague Arabile Gumede, who's standing by at the National Results Operations Centre. Arabile?
A buzz is certainly melting up, and you can certainly see that things are beginning to heat up here, of course, at the Rock, as we like to call it, of course, there. Things are beginning to heat up, and of course, throughout the day, we've heard a few things as to what is going on across the country. Yes, we did have a few voting stations not open on time, specifically at 7 a.m., but as things progressed, of course, we are able to see that things have now gotten a little bit better. The CEO, of course, of the IEC, Simon Mabolo, even saying that at least 17 polling stations had not opened by 11:30, but believes that by now, at the very least, those should certainly have come on board. So things are beginning to, of course, take some sort of shape. There are at least, just under 8 hours to go until the close of voting. So do continue to vote, of course, South Africa, and we will continue to give you the latest with regards to news across the country when it comes to South Africa making its mark and making its decision. Of course, we are crossing throughout the country as well to find out how things are progressing in different parts of South Africa. And right at the very top, we'll start off in Alexandra, of course, which is north of Johannesburg. And really the situation, of course, in Alexandra has been one of keen interest of late, with protests happening in an area that is just to the east of Sandton, of course, across the highway there. And our very own Nozintombi Miya is situated there, and we'll get perhaps a status update and some sentiment out of Alexandra. Nozintombi Miya, good afternoon to you.
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Arabile. You're quite correct. We are here really in the heart of Alex, and we're right here at the Alex Library, which is one of the voting station areas where the residents here of Alexandra came in the numbers from as early as 3 o'clock in the morning. It really was quite, amazing to see the commitment, the drive and the passion that people of Alex had with regards to making sure that they cast their vote for their preferred political candidate. And unfortunately, at this particular voting station, it opened 40 minutes later than what it was supposed to start. It opened at about 7:45, and quite a number of the voters who are on the voters roll expressed their frustration at the fact that they'd been here from about 3 o'clock in the morning. Some had been here at about 5 o'clock in the morning, and they still had to wait a further 40 minutes before they would be able to cast their vote. And many had said that they'd come so early in the morning because they still needed to go to work later in the afternoon, and early morning was the best time that they would be able to cast their vote, Arabile. And where we are right now, we're actually inside one of the voting station tents where voters come in and make sure that they are verified on the voters roll before they're given a stamp and a mark to show that they've cast their vote, and given 2 election ballots, one for national, one provincial, before they go behind me, where you can see that there is the voting booth and also where the voting ballot boxes are to finally cast their final vote. Arabile.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Nozintombi. Of course, the situation continues to be volatile in some areas, particularly in KZN, of course, where things have continued to filter through. We will cross back to Nozintombi throughout the day and find out how the situation continues to settle in, perhaps in Alexandra, perhaps speak to a few residents as well, how they feel. Of course, some had even said that they may not even vote if their service delivery protests were not taken seriously by whether it be the president, whether it be the premier, and of course, whether it be the mayor. Mr. Herman Mashaba there as well in the city of Johannesburg. But it is key, it is quite important to note that how things pan out, particularly in the likes of Pretoria, Tshwane and Johannesburg, will be quite key to that race between the DA and the ANC. It is hotly contested, and of course polls are differing when it comes to exactly where and what they see happening when it comes to the election itself. But of course this will determine it itself, right? Today is the day that you, South Africa, get to determine exactly what happens with regards to that.